Y'all are in the stream while no one is here. So we're gonna see what go on with this shit, man. Cool. How'd you hear about it?
I followed the Instagram.
Oh, the Instagram. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
They did a post on it.
Yeah, you can take this.
Yeah, cool, thank you.
Oh, the camera's doing it on Instagram?
Yeah, I don't post it on, I think they're mostly on Facebook.
Yeah, they are most definitely. Yeah. It's my second class. So. All right. All right. So I'm just gonna go greet the people for a moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're not here yet, but I'm just gonna chill and entertain the stream so far. Oh, we got 9 people. That's good. Welcome everyone to the stream. This is my college class that I'm teaching for Durham College. My name is Ken, but yeah, I'm Ken. And yeah, we're gonna start in 10 or so minutes. Hello, welcome to the stream. You're in the middle of a college class, so class is in session. Soup. Do you like no code personally?
I've met him once. I don't think, no, nice to do the like, yeah, that was it actually. Because I sent an invitation, not an invitation. I tried to like join the club during the strike, so I wasn't sure if like that all went through. So I talked to him, and I think he said it did. They just, I don't think I got an email because they mostly do stuff through Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook, which is like crazy. I don't know anything. This is
Wow. Honestly, but yeah, I thought it was cool. I saw something on their Instagram today, or not today, a little bit ago.
oh, cool.
Yeah, it really sucks I can't stay for a little bit.
That's alright. You'll probably be there for at least the PowerPoint presentation. Yeah, the PowerPoint presentation is not going to be an hour. It's not going to be an hour. What's it called? What's going to take more time is probably like the Q&A and like the actual interview. Oh, hey, what's up? Hello.
Nothing much yourself?
Yeah, man.
Good to see you. Looking sharp.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Cool.
Brandon,
Brandon.
talked to you once.
Yes.
I don't.
Yeah, I was over there.
At the club call, yeah.
Oh, Charlie. Yes, I did see that. Thank you for coming.
All right, it's already beats last class already. Yeah, because only Tyrone showed up last class.
Yes. Are you two acquainted with each other?
Yeah. We did our little introductions and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay. No, like outside of.
Oh no. He's actually here because of what you posted on Instagram.
Yeah.
Really? You're here for that?
Yeah, I know, right? Crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see you guys post on there much, but when I do, I try to take a peek.
Yes. So Ken is very intelligent. And he's definitely found quite a lot of inspiration in theology, divinity, and all sorts of practices in life.
That's awesome.
This is actually the part of the
I'm still on high. So what do you stream the class on?
YouTube.
Oh, really?
YouTube channel, yeah.
What's
It's
your YouTube?
at TBOG786.
Okay.
Yeah. TBOG, the Bourbon of Gold. That's what it's called. It's in all caps. I think I don't know. Is that AJ? I think I don't know. I don't know. It was mine. We're just waiting for like Tyrone just came in. But, we're just waiting for Jeremy to come up, who is actually like he's a local minister from this region. Actually, yeah, I know him outside of yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I was interested. I don't interact with a lot of this kind of community anymore. I
Yeah.
used to go like a bunch of festivals and stuff.
My man. Oh, crazy. Ken.
Oh,
Great.
Brandon.
Great.
Brandon.
Okay, how you doing?
This is hype. This is hype.
Yeah.
I still look at you. Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
shit.
And it's kind of for me,
Oh, yeah.
I saw you.
This is a college class that is basically hosting. This is a this is a college class that I'm doing on divination. It's at Durham College, located in 200 Simcoe Street, South Oshawa. So yeah. All right. I'll probably start in like 5 minutes or so.
Actually, I'll probably start.
Yes, sir. We're gonna start pretty soon, folks. So I guess Jeremy is kind of late, but that's all right. Something intuitive didn't tell me I should start as it is. So like, not trying to get greedy or anything. Yeah. Technically it starts at 12:30, so I'm kind of like OCD about time. So make yourself comfortable, make yourself cozy, folks. We're gonna start literally in like when the clock strikes 30. So I'm excited. Okay, there we go. Anyways, welcome to the class. Welcome to Divination Day, the Geomantic Immersion. My name is Uthman, that's my birth name, but typically people know me as Ken. And today we're basically going to be getting into the wonderful world of geomancy, earth divination. So, a brief disclaimer at the beginning of this lecture. This is not a conventional approach to religiosity or spiritual wisdom. In the more traditional roots, divination tends to be a banned practice. However, in the more heterodox or occult mystical paradigms, we see an openness to the strings of fate being tested and the insight of the unseen being explored. Where many systems wag a finger at tempting fate, the esoteric, especially the hermetic, see great wisdom in exploring this field. So before we get in, this is a little bit about myself. So my name is, obviously, I said it previously, but I'm turning 23 this year. I was born and raised in Canada. I was born in Galloway, but I've lived in Pickering essentially my whole life. I moved there in 2005, so I've been living there for like 21 years, give or take. So pretty much my whole life. I recently graduated from Durham College at the Workplace Health and Safety program. I'm an independent author on Amazon. I have over 6 working titles, and I've sold 200 total copies surrounding these, spanning across 6 working titles. I'm a social media aspirant. My Alikwana Stahab, or the Beverly Gold channel, which everyone is seeing right now on YouTube, is at 1.1k subscribers, almost 1.2 actually. I recently hit 30 subscribers on Substack, which is a article sharing platform. You guys can follow me there at Mufti963 Krolo. Yeah, so that's a little bit about myself. We should probably get started now. So what is divination? Divination, in a somewhat literal sense, means speaking to the divine in order to gain information on temporal events, perspectives, or insights. While many mainstream interpretations constrain divination to casting tools like pendulum, tarot cards, runes, pulling sticks or straws from a basket or bag, etc., it's important to bend the idea of a divination in general could be any form of divination from scripture, prayer, meditation, channeling, or the prophetic gifts of wisdom. If you guys like, you could share any types of spiritual connection you guys have with God, or like any sort of like.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Are you recording this lecture?
Yeah, yeah. Recording on YouTube.
Alright,
Yeah.
what's your question?
I said, like, do you guys have any like divine kind of connection, or like kind of like bridge that you kind of connect your way to like a divine source? Yeah, cool.
I find we are living in flourishing in divine sources from my experience.
Pardon?
Everything can be seen as divine.
Yeah, of course. It's like a sort of pantheistic kind of like perspective. Yeah.
I'll say on meditation is a good one.
Yeah, meditation. Yeah, right here, meditation can be.
I've used before, like you said, scripture reading.
Yeah, Brendan.
Like offerings?
Yeah, offering definitely is a divinatory practice, because at least what you receive from said offering can be a divinatory practice, as essentially that what you end up receiving in tandem with an offering is a reciprocation from said divine being, right? So how you channel and how you, I think I said channeling here. Yeah, it's such, how you channel that reciprocation from that divine being can be seen as a form of divination. Yeah, what's up?
Embodiments of spirits and time spirits.
Yeah, in Christianity they call that theosis, basically, where you have a theosis basically means like, well, the Catholics call it divinization, not divination, but divinization, where you basically take a share in a divine being's nature, basically, where you basically have a share, you basically are consumed whole in the divine nature's being. In Sufism and Islamic mysticism, they call that al-fana, which means like effacement, basically, where like your ego is basically erased in the divine presence of God, essentially. So yeah, that's what is divination. What is divination good for? General vibe check. Divination is a good insight onto how you're doing and what the vibes are like for your current moment. It's good for confirmation, confirming signs that may have been provided to you and might require divinatory insight. Rumination and contemplation. Divination might provide a perspective that changes how you view what you're originally inquiring. Now here's the thing that you should not go to divination for. Because of the promising idea that divination may give you an insight into the strings of fate, there are many charlatans, or in other words, like con men basically, that unfortunately prey on people's desperation and cravings for control. If any diviner is telling you that the insight from their service is final and consecrated, including myself, if I ever said that, please reprimand that. But if you're saying you cannot change what's being said, that is a huge red flag of someone trying to leech off of your own energy. Although I previously said divination is good for confirming things, it's important to keep an implicit bias out of your insights for optimal receptivity of what's being shown. A message might not feel good, quote unquote, or be positive enough for us to want to hear it, but that doesn't stop it from being any more or any less true from happening. Free will and destiny. So this is a concept I myself struggle with wrapping my head around. And overall, I like to believe that while freedom and willpower tend to butt heads with predestination, there is room for the two to dance together in harmony. It is said that a fool is governed by his stars, but a wise man rules them. The ultimate conundrum here with this phrase is that we must find balance between both wisdom and foolishness. As wisdom keeps us mature and keeps us level-headed, foolishness makes way for us to make mistakes and find our own childish path. And this is a quote from one of the resources that we had at the end of the presentation, the Ars Geomantia. And it would take an act of will to change it. So in many different paradigms, free will and predestination are not mutually exclusive, although they tend to butt heads with each other in many different cases. So what form of divination will we be exploring today? So have you guys, show of hands, have you guys ever heard of geomancy before? Nice, so half. Okay, we're half and half. Okay. Oh, hey, Jeremy.
Hey, sorry. I had a hard time finding the places to park.
Awesome, man.
And then there's no number on the door.
Oh, yeah. That's all right. Welcome.
Thanks.
Yeah. Nice. So you just got into the meat and potatoes. It's all right. So we're actually getting into, that was just the preliminary stuff we went through, but we're actually getting into like what form of divination we're doing today. So the form of divination we're doing today is geomancy. So geomancy is rooted in the 8th century Arabic esoteric practice called ilm al-ramal, or the science of the sand. Geomancy is one of the oldest divination traditions that utilizes binary coding and systems that was later adapted into the medieval and Renaissance period. It originally started as casting sand, like they would literally cast like sand in the air, and they would like etch whatever they found with the sand on singular or double. So if you guys notice on the visual aid right here, this is a geomantic shield chart. So if you notice, a geomantic figure consists of either a singular or double point. So this is where like the binary system comes from. And spoiler alert, but this is like where like original binary originates in. But instead of it being zeros and ones, it's just ones and twos, which is essentially the same thing. But anyways, it started with them just casting sand and etching either a singular or double point on the parchment paper. However, as the European and Renaissance wisdom got attracted to the Arabic divination, this practice was incredibly revolutionized, of all the 16 geomantic figures being Latinized, which basically means that these figures right here have names to them, and they have names originally in Arabic, but when the Renaissance got their hands on it, they basically Latinized them into like, I actually know the Latin names and not the Arabic names, funny enough. So yeah. Most importantly, they added astrological and Platonic elemental correspondences were made with the 16 geomantic figures. Ooh, what's that? Mythological origins, first account. So when you're trying to get into Islamic mysticism or like Middle Eastern mysticism, the identification of the prophetic figure Idris is very paramount to understanding the more occult Middle Eastern traditions. While mainstream interpreters or mainstream exegetes see Idris as either Enoch or Esdras, the non-conforming camp that was more mystically inclined saw him as a threefold title figure. And where he wasn't just Enoch, but Pythagoras and the Hermetic sage Hermes Trismegistus as well, which is a picture of him right there. So it's a fan art picture of him, but yeah, regardless of the depiction of Hermes Trismegistus. So in the geomantic legends of Idris, Idris sees the archangel Gabriel in a dream, drawing supposed figures. When asked for enlightenment, Idris receives the basis of geomancy from the angel and passes it down to an Indian king named Tumtum al-Hindi. Tumtum wrote the first supposed book on geomancy, and this mythological book was slowly forgotten. It was an actual book, but like it's an attribution, basically. But although this book was fully forgotten, it was reinstated by an Arab named Khalaf al-Barbari, which literally means barbarian. But Khalaf basically converted to Islam, and when he inquired the Prophet Muhammad about the practice of geomancy, he responded that it was ancient prophetic wisdom, and that learning it would make you know what the Prophet knew. And here's a second account of the mythological origins of geomancy. It's a bit stranger, but regardless, it still checks out as it involves Idris in it. So one day, Idris was poor and struggling for work and food, kind of like us in this economy right now. But while he was amidst his poverty, he started drawing etchings in the sand to cure his boredom. When confronted by a passerby stranger on what he was doing, Idris replies he was actually just doing nothing, just for amusement, essentially. The stranger scoffed at him and said what Idris was doing was very important, and then asked him to do the etchings until there was precisely 16 figures in it. The stranger then taught Idris the meaning of these figures and subsequently revealed that he was the Archangel Gabriel before disappearing. Again, very strange, basically saying that boredom and poverty causes you to find one of the best divination systems. But hey, that's life, right? This is the most important part, I think. Transmission to the West. So in the 12th century, via the Almohad dynasty, so side note, this is not on the slide, but side note, in my scope of Islamic mysticism, there are three specific dynasties that I think were very important to this foundation. The first one was the Abbasids, which ruled over Iraq and, mainly Iraq, like Baghdad, Basra, different Iraqi regions, basically. That was around the 8th and 10th century, I think, and that started the Islamic Golden Age. Next, we have the, they weren't so approving of it, but there was a lot of prolific figures in this. This was the Ayyubid dynasty. Show of hands, anyone watch the movie Kingdom of Heaven? The one with Salahuddin and King Balin IV. So Salahuddin was the Sultan of, it's a really good movie. It's a movie based on the conquest of Jerusalem. But essentially, it shows the rivalry between King Balin IV, which was the current king of Jerusalem, and his rivalry with Sultan Salahuddin, or Saladin, who basically started the Ayyubid dynasty. So the Ayyubid dynasty wasn't too privy to occultism. However, there was a lot of inclined individuals. We had Ibn Arabi, who was basically like a letter mystic and like a Sufi kind of revolutionary, essentially. We had Ahmad ibn Ali al-Buni, who wrote the Shams al-Ma'arif, or the Book of Sun and Gnosis. We have Suharwardi, who was basically, I have a video on Suharwardi in the channel, which you guys should check out in the shorts comments. But Suhrawardi was an astrologer who basically bridged the gap between Zoroastrianism and Islam. So we have all these great thinkers in just the Ayyubid dynasty, but we're really good century and took over Spain. So the Arabs transferred their knowledge to Spain, and the rich Arabic culture there spread like wildfire all throughout Europe. Many Renaissance and medieval men were fascinated by the Middle Eastern wisdom that the Arabs professed. As previously stated, the Renaissance wisdom was able to link the 16 geomantic figures to astrology. So astrology in this case being the 7 ancient spheres, let me see if I can name it off the top of my head. Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. The 2 lunar nodes, so in astronomy and astrology, they have the nodes of the moon, so the north node and the south node. And Vedic astrology is called Rahu and Ketu. And there's a constellation called the Draco constellation, where the north node is seen as the head of the Draco constellation, and then the south node is seen as the tail of the Draco constellation. So we also have the 12 zodiac signs, which are, I'll actually see if I can mention that again. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. That's the 12 zodiac signs, as well as the 4 Platonic elements. I don't gotta name that off the dome, but fire, water, air, and earth. This made geomancy a worldwide sensation within its mystical contemporaries, as now it could be fit within a more familiar system towards Western minds. And this is the geomancy shield chart, which I showed kind of previously. This is a more like a raw rendition of it, but this is tertiary to the presentation, as I'm not the most experienced with the system of geomancy. However, it's worth mentioning that there is an astrological chart reading of geomancy that people use as a form of answering direct questions via the reading of a formation of certain figures. This is called, as it suggests, a shield chart. And it was the biggest addition towards European Middle Age adaptation of the geomantic system, meaning that it wasn't originally in the Arabic system. However, when they saw astrology linked in with the geomantic system, they basically kind of found like a way to like symmetrically and like, so the way, if I recall correctly, the way you read a geomantic shield chart is you read it from the different houses. So this is like one of the houses, astrological houses, I'm not too sure, like I said, but this would represent like, for example, like house 1, house 7, I'm making the numbers up, but house 12. So you can fit all of the astrological houses in a geomantic shield chart, and then depending on your querent or like what your question is, you can basically read like a coherent, like, geomancy's influence on modern science. So the binary root in geomantic paradigm has apparent influence on computer sciences. So Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, hopefully I did not butcher that, but he was a co-inventor of calculus and the man who refined the modern binary system. And he was obsessed with algorithmic databases and depictions. While he claimed to originally come up with this logistic, the origins are heavily speculated to have come from the Chinese divination system via the I Ching, or the Book of Changes, and of course the European adoptions of the Arabic divination system of geomancy. So geomancy is almost like a great-grandfather of computer science, basically, and logic, because like I said, the original, like, how do I say this? The original, like, binary code system that geomancy offers basically made it so we have a foundation for what, like, computers would, like, how do I say this, like, incorporate into their motherboards and into their computer jargon. Insert computer jargon here. Introducing the 16 geomantic figures. By the way, these are swapped, by the way. Yeah, these are swapped. But introducing these 16 geomantic figures. This is not really the best visual aid for it, but I have a much better visual aid for it. Right here. So this comes from Liber 96, Liber Gaia by Aleister Crowley. But this is going to be like the meat and potatoes of the presentation, because it essentially, I'm going to explain to you each and every single one of the 16 geomantic figures. So the first one, which deals with Aries and Mars, is puer, which means boy. And this deals with youth, innocence, beginnings, kind of like starting points, kind of like masculine youth basically is what the puer starts with. Next we have amisio, which deals with Taurus and Venus, and this is Earth as well. Oh yeah, puer is fire. Yeah, so amisio means loss, essentially. It means like grief or loss, and so yeah, not all the geomantic figures are positive. But this basically deals with like I said, like defeat, setback, failure, that kind of stuff. Yeah, what's up?
So is this like the legend to read?
Yeah, it's a legend. Yeah, it's a legend. Yeah, good question. Yeah, this one is albus. Albus means white, like kind of like Dumbledore, Albus Dumbledore. You know what I'm saying? So like albus means white, and this basically deals with purity, hope, new beginnings, like purification, basically, like a purity process that you kind of go through in like the transformation of your life. Next, we have the populace, which obviously that sounds like population. So you go arguing further, it means like people or congregation. Essentially, this deals with the sign of Cancer and the moon. Populace is essentially like a collective, a social relationship. So if you were to like want a relationship read, what I don't do, I do general readings. I'll explain that later. But I do generals, which are like more of like a general scope of things. I don't really answer questions. But if you want to have a question answered, which I can't do, the populace would be very, very good in terms of like a relationship reading or like a love reading. Next we have Fortuna Major, which is Leo and the Sun. This is the greater fortune, basically, and it basically deals with, well, it's kind of self-explanatory, you know, like fortune. Again, this would be really good for if you were trying to like get an inquiry or something, or if like you're trying to get like a, actually one of this is called acquisition, but we'll get to that soon. But if you're trying to acquire something, like, or you're trying to get like some sort of like fortune, that is a really good figure to get, is a Fortuna Major. Next we have Conjunctio, which means union, basically. So Conjunctio is the unionized card. This actually can do with relationships as well, because it deals with like an overall like reconciliation, a unification, a oneness of some sort. And this is Virgo and Mercury, essentially. So yeah. So like how we have puer as the boy, we have the puella, which is the girl. So puella means girl in Latin. These are all Latinized. I should have mentioned these are all Latinizations of the geomantic figures. But puella is the girl, and it's kind of like the puer in the aspect of it deals with youth, innocence, and beginnings. However, it deals it in the more of the feminine aspect. So we have puella as essentially the Libra and Venus, because Venus is the feminine side. Funny enough, fun fact, the Greek signs for female and male, which are conveniently right here and right here as well, the male sign is a phallic symbol, because the Greek stereotype that men like struggle more with carnal and lower desires than women do. And the female sign is a mirror, because the Greeks basically understood a stereotype that women cared more about their external image than men did. They saw these as defining traits of men and women. So this is why the puer has like the Mars, and then the puella has the Venus. So similar to how we have white, we also have rubus, which is red. Rubus deals with Scorpio, and rubus deals with anger, passion, agitation to a certain degree. So this could be very good if you're trying to spark some sort of passion, some sort of rage. You know what I'm saying? Another cool thing that rubus lines up with Mars, which is associated with the root chakra, and the root chakra is typically red. So yeah, rubus is the eighth figure. We're halfway there, folks. Bear with me. But number 9 is acquisitio, which is acquiring. So I teased this previously, but acquisitio is the acquiring of a anything, like obtaining an acquisition. But acquiring in this aspect could be a general thing, but in most cases, when I run into acquisitio in readings, it's typically like something tangible, something physical, something like inherited almost to a certain degree. Next, we have the carcer, which this one's not very positive either, but this is the carcer, which quite literally means, like, if you're familiar with the term incarcerated and stuff like that, this is where it comes from in Latin. So carcer means prison. So this is Capricorn and Saturn. Now, this is really works really well too, because Capricorn typically deals with authoritative energy, and Saturn is a restrictive planet. So essentially, it deals with restriction and karma. So essentially, like, the carcer kind of fits within like this. I think it fits in the most of its astrological correspondence. I think because again, like restriction, authority. That's kind of like a recipe for jail, if you ask me. Tristitia means, this is another kind of sad one. It means depression or sorrow, basically. So Tristitia basically deals with Aquarius and Saturn. And Tristitia basically kind of deals with like grief, kind of like Amicio does. And it deals with grief in the aspect of how you're feeling. Like in the aspect of like, okay, like how do I feel? How does this make me feel? And a reading could basically show you that Tristitia. And the one that sounds like a lady's name is Laetitia and stuff like that. That means joy and stuff like that. So yeah, if you notice Tristitia, if you guys can see that, right? Tristitia has this form, which is sorrow, and then Laetitia has this form, which is the opposite of it, right? If you guys can see that visual aid properly. And the same thing with the puer and the puella too. Like the puer is like that, is formed like that, and the puella, which is the opposite, is just the same thing but just flipped upside down, right? And it's even the same thing with amicio and acquisitio, because amicio has this figure right here, and acquisitio is just that, but just flipped upside down. So a lot of these have complementary. Have the cauda draconis and the caput draconis. I'm going to kind of mention these together. So, because these aren't in the typical 7 ancient spheres of astrology or even in the zodiac signs. What these are essentially the, what's it called? These are the cauda draconis is the lunar south node, which is, like I said, cauda draconis means the tail of the serpent or the tail of the dragon. Caput draconis means the head of the dragon or head of the serpent. So these two work in tandem with each other to a certain degree, where you have essentially the cauda being, so cauda draconis deals with, these are opposites, as you can see right here, these are opposites of each other. So cauda draconis deals with endings, death, completion. So if you're trying to like end something off or finish something off, cauda draconis is your best friend. Now caput draconis deals with transformation, beginnings, starting things. So if you're trying to start something new, caput draconis is what you got. Now we got 2 more, right? So thank you guys for bearing with me on this one. Fortuna minor. So like how we have Fortuna major right here, Fortuna minor is the lesser fortune. So this is the same thing with Fortuna major, just lesser. It's literally just Fortuna major, but his little brother. So yeah, that's Fortuna minor for you. Easy one. Last one is Vaya. Oh yeah, that's a Leo and the Sun. Last one is Vaya. This is the way. Via, like if you mean like via something, or I connect something via this, we still use this in our typical jargon and typical language today. So via typically means way or journey, and this deals with like movement, journey, passing through kind of situation. And yeah, before I get into like the casting of geomancy, is there any questions you guys have concerning the 16 geomantic figures? I went on for quite a while around a little spiel. Yeah, Jimmy?
When you're casting it, would you say the singular one and the dual one, does it ask the components of each geomantic figure, the individual part or the dual part? Which one is seen as more feminine?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. So the singular part is seen as masculine, and the dual one is seen as feminine. Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah, I forgot to expound upon that. Good catch, Jeremy. So what can one cast geomancy with? Because geomancy is a binary coded system, you can basically do it with anything. It can basically be done with any yes or no, left or right system. However, some popular methods of casting geomancy goes as follows. A coin, because it's heads or tails, which is like yes or no. A dice, even, because it's like odd or even numbers. A pendulum, because it's like, a pendulum typically tells you yes or no if you have a good intuition with it. But most importantly, playing cards. So cartomancy has always been a huge factor in my skill set. And so for today's workshop, I will be handing out general, again, not like question based, but it's general readings, depicting the subject's situation, past, present, and future. After the presentation, I'll be walking you guys through like how I read. I know Jeremy was here for this. Like, I'll teach you guys. I'll tell you guys like how I cast it with the concerning the cards and stuff like that. That'll be after the presentation. Resources. Okay, this is the part where I hand out stuff. Yay! Resources I'll be handing out. So, do I have one? That's my watch. Do I have one for you? I think I have one. Okay, yeah. Okay, so the resource I'll be handing out to the class is the Ars Geomantica, which I showed earlier. I quoted earlier in the presentation. Geomancy for beginners. Which one is that? That one right here. Geomancy for beginners. The art and practice of geomancy. This one cost me a pretty penny actually. It cost me like 25. The art and practice of geomancy by John Michael Beer. Geomancy Unlocking the Magic of Earth Divination by Mari Silva. This one is kind of sloppy, but I like this one. And as a tertiary, the proto-geomancy, that was a medieval Renaissance astrological, magical, talismanic kind of thing called De Imaginibus or Images. So, if you guys like, you guys can pass it through. Actually, I want to check it out. And you guys can like kind of rotate it basically.
What's going on, that's all.
Yeah, we're having a concert.
Okay. Do you want to join?
Maybe some other time.
Okay, that's all good.
I actually
Oh, cool.
one of my classes.
Oh, cool. All right, and this concludes my presentation on geomancy. I hope this infographic provided some sort of coherent basis or interest in the field of divination. I have a lot of passion for this practice, obviously, and I would like to see it mainstream. If there are any questions, comments, or ideas before I start readings, then be sure to suggest them towards myself, and I'll try my best to answer them. So, yeah, this is the end of it. And if anyone would like an interactive reading, I have 3 options for y'all. I got Standard 52 and Moon Oracle. Then I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and I have Marvel Superheroes. Nice. Yeah. If anyone would like in general, then I'm free to give one. Yeah, you guys can check the resources so far. Until then. So much for tuning in. We went on for 45 minutes. That's insane. Yeah, so leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Ken with the Iguana Stahab, and I'm out. Be sure to check out the Mithras documentary. It's coming this Sunday. You dig? So, yeah. It's scheduled to premiere March 22nd at 7:40 p.m.